What is up? Welcome to episode 9. It's Iron and Thank. We got a good special guest, Frankie, from part 1 of Rockabilia here today. How's it going, man?
Hey!
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. No, we've had this in the pipeline for a while. We're super excited to do this episode, but we want to kick things off. Yeah, we want to kick things off with a question first.
Okay.
From Eternal Death Slayer 3.
Chris Rosario.
I love how you both said that at like the same time.
time.
I know, you guys have like a link.
He's the one guy, dude, like if we drop something,
Yeah.
bink, Chris Rosario. He's that guy.
Gotcha.
First one.
Okay.
He's the man.
Which is awesome.
Super
and
fan.
feel free to jump in on this,
Sure.
Frankie. I'm sure this will apply to you too. So, guys, do you have any funny tattoos? And part 2 of the question: what area hurt the most?
Alec,
Tattooed.
you first?
I have a dolphin on my lower back jumping.
Yep.
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
Absolutely.
I would have heard about that. But
I actually no. I really don't have any interesting or weird tattoos. The only one that I would consider weird is the USMC blasted across my shoulders. It's like the super boot move to do, and you get made fun of and all that. But I'm pretty sure I was drunk, so it's okay.
I thought it was part of like being a Marine,
No,
but then he comes and
no,
finds like
it's
the
not.
douchey thing, and you're not
yeah,
supposed to have that.
yeah, it's super bad. But when it comes time to most painful, I would definitely say the leg. The leg
I
sucked.
would agree with that.
So yeah, but by the back of the knee,
I'm out, bitch.
behind by the back of the knee is nothing about that is even remotely enjoyable.
Yep.
Yeah, well, what'd you get? So speaking of leg, he just got his legs blasted.
Yeah, I mean, what was the question again? What's the funniest tattoo?
No. Do you have any funny tattoos? And
Well,
what's the most painful?
I mean, I can answer this kind of two-pronged because
Okay,
I just got
go
Willy
for it.
Wonka on my leg.
Ooh. Show the cam. Let's see if he busts out that
I
leg.
don't think
Throw it
you
up
can
there.
really
Throw it
see
up there.
That's actually pretty good, though.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Sick.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
would hope
Like,
it's
good
not
detail.
shitty. But I mean, it's a goofy, like getting a Willy Wonka sleeve is obviously a little goofy.
Yeah.
It can be considered that. But yeah, I mean, the legs are horrible.
Did I see this right? That like in the show, I think I remember this. Is it the drummer from Bless the Fall had Gollum tattooed on him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
dude,
just
the guy,
remember that.
yeah, like
Just Gollum, or is it like a whole Lord of the Rings?
I think
No,
I think
it's
Gollum.
Matt, the drummer.
Yeah, the drummer.
Okay.
No, he
But
has like it's that,
themed?
and then it's themed out with
That's
like the
so
whole
sick.
scene.
I only
Nice.
noticed the Gollum.
Oh, no,
I was
he's,
side
like,
stage,
obsessed with that.
checking it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's awesome.
You have
Listen to him,
you have your
side stage.
yeah.
What?
Listen to him.
You know,
drop
to get all the
inside.
VIP access.
You have your feet done too, don't you?
Oh yeah.
You're out of your
Actually,
goddamn
Whoops!
mind.
I take it back.
Yeah, the feet are probably the worst.
So you just
for
lied.
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
not the
I'm a
legs.
liar.
So do
feet
you
are
just
bad.
wear sandals then? Is that
No,
it?
actually,
Just sandals?
I kind of got them in the winter, both of them. So I would wear sandals around, walking around the snow with shorts because you can't wear sandals with pants.
Yeah, it looks weird.
So I just look like a maniac.
When
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
your feet tattooed, did you have to wrap them in the plastic that they
Oh,
do
yeah.
and like wear
Oh,
it for
yeah.
24 hours?
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, it sucks.
Hey, you got your own pair of slippers though.
True.
Like,
Yeah,
there you
most
go.
tattoo artists don't even get their feet tattooed because they know how bad it hurts.
Yeah.
And they just don't
So
recommend
what?
it to anybody.
Why? I remember why. Why?
What? Why'd you do it, man?
Why,
Listen
Frankie?
to this guy asking why he's covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
No,
I
I'm-
mean,
Yeah.
it's like,
I remember when you told me.
real estate.
I remember when you told me
yeah.
you're getting your feet done, and that was the first question I had. It was why? Just
Dude, do any of us know why for any of this shit?
What the fuck am
I
I
mean-
doing this for? Honestly, you know how many times when I've sat there,
Yeah.
oh yeah, man, the stencil's on.
Totally.
And then like an hour in, I'm literally going, what the fuck am I doing?
It's horrible. It's a
Right?
horrible idea.
Dripping
every time.
sweat.
Yep.
how
I
long
just-
did it take? Was it a
Which one?
while?
Which
Your
one?
feet.
Yeah, I think we did the outline in one session and then color in two, maybe.
Do you have like a
Yeah.
foot fetish or
Yeah.
something?
Should I
Frankie's
just
like,
take off
I'm
my
really,
shoes?
I'm just
Yeah,
really
no.
into
He's
feet.
not for he's actually not wearing shoes, right?
Yeah. For
He's just
sure.
gripping
You
the
can't
carpet
see it on the
with his
camera, but
toes.
yeah, the carpet. He
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah,
So-
anything below, yeah, legs are horrible.
Yeah.
Like-
What was your most painful? Neck, right? Was it? It's,
No, that sucked. It was uncomfortable because I was doing this the whole time with my chin in my chest.
By
That
the way,
sucks.
if you want to see Jeff in pain, guys, go to YouTube, Iron and Ink Fitness. You can look; it's awesome. It's my
What?
favorite video. I
Which
watch
one?
it every day. The
Which
one where
one?
you're getting your neck blasted and you're like,
Oh yeah, and I'm going.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. Sides of the neck were okay. They all suck, but yeah, it's below the knees because your heartbeat pumps when you prop your
Really?
feet up. Did you ever get that or no? You know what I'm saying? Like the throbbing, like legitimate, like it was. You got that?
No, yeah.
After. No, yeah. Do you like that? I always call him out. He says that. No, yeah.
The sitting on the toilet. Sitting on the toilet.
That's awesome. Oh, sorry.
Sitting on. I vividly.
Phone this guy is the phone psych. Oh, look at this. The guy running.
It never happened.
Running the podcast.
Never happened.
I love how he does the whole turn off your phones and look at his phone goes off.
I shut mine off, bro.
Yeah. Oh, the guest even knows the rules. And the host. Oof. Okay, what were you saying though?
I just vividly remember I think it was day 2 after I was getting my leg done, taking a shit, and my sitting down for a long period of time.
Yeah, your leg is just...
My leg just felt like it was going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's weird you haven't got that. Maybe when you finish that Willy Wonka theme, it'll kick in a little more.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
So what about you, Colin?
Most painful tattoo I've ever gotten?
The one.
Let me tell you.
The one tat he has.
Eternal Death Slayer 3.
Okay.
It did not feel good getting it, like, the point of it, the very point of the tattoo.
Oh,
right here, on the wrist, so that hurt a lot.
Oh, that shit's awful.
Yeah.
I remember my first beer. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. No, I remember I texted you when I got this. I was like, ouch.
Yeah, it's
Literally
brutal.
Just, ouch. But
now you know it's not fun. But
it's not fun. But it actually didn't feel too bad. The rest of it was just there, and then like kind of going up in like the crookedy elbow here. That didn't feel good.
Yeah, the ditches suck. Yep.
Yeah. But no, and I don't think I really have any. I only have the one. So.
Do you have any funny one? I mean, like, is there ones that like you know what I'm talking about, like a tour tat or some fucked up shit that you had that's like, dude, that's not really.
I mean, I have a whole like Shel Silverstein sleeve, which can be also considered a little goofy.
That's rad.
I really like cartoon characters, little kid books.
Fucking weirdo.
Gosh.
But, you know.
That's awesome.
But that's actually like style, though. So I
for
get
sure.
that. It's just like aesthetics. So that's kind of cool.
No, I don't have any goofy like tour tats or anything like that. Do you?
Right.
No.
We almost did a couple tours ago. We were like debating about like just the idea of having like trying to play drums, loading gear, and your arms wrapped up. It's like the worst shit. I wouldn't want to do it.
I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Like it's uncomfortable. Like I don't want to do that shit.
I wouldn't want to get tattooed by someone I don't know. Like I've been tattooed by 2 people, and just the thought of being in a random place, getting tattooed by a random person.
Let's just put it this way: it'd be something pretty fucking small. Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I could do that real quick and get in, get out in about 30 minutes here, but nothing. Like this kind of shit, like big pieces, but.
Back in the day, my friend and I almost got matching Chipotle tattoos.
That's
because
sick.
There was this, I don't even know if it was true because this was so long ago. It was really before like.
But what is back in the day with Chipotle? Because they weren't like that.
That's a good question.
I was probably 19. I mean,
and how old are you now? So the people know.
So like 2 years ago.
yeah.
I was 19. I'm 20.
When was Chipotle established? Because I remember it just started getting big in 2007, 2008. Right?
No, because I had it in high school once, and I remember this because I didn't like it. Yeah.
No shit.
And that must have been 99, 2000.
I didn't even know they were around that long.
No,
but it was
I did not either. Like I remember that was all the rage
Google
in high school. Like Chipotle, dude.
For sure.
You know what though?
It took a while to
fake news. Google us.
Fake news.
But no, we were gonna get these matching Chipotle tattoos because we heard that if you had one, you'd get free Chipotle for life.
Are you ready?
Lay it on me.
July 13th, 1993. Denver,
Boom.
Colorado.
Wow. When did they expand from that location?
Well, they started in 93, so...
When did they
When did they come to Hopkins,
like 15
Minnesota,
years
Jeff?
later.
Yeah.
Is that on Google?
No, just 93 is when they started popping off. So.
All right, well, I just showed total
You're right. There it
Chipotle
is.
ignorance.
Chipotle master right
Yeah.
here.
So you would
win
that
that
actually.
competition.
So you were thinking basically if you got this tat, then you get free food for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's what we had heard. And I mean,
I have a donut.
probably do it now.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but do you get free donuts?
Oh,
you
one
do.
time. Yeah, I do.
One time. I know. One free.
Was it
$1
worth it?
donut.
Yeah.
You going, yo, I have a donut tattoo. Does that mean I get free donuts?
And the guy looks at me and goes, "Fuck, I don't give a shit. You gonna buy a donut and get out of my shop?" I went to Glamdale. He hooked it up once. And now I don't want to be that guy, though, because it's the same people that work there and be like, hey, it's me again.
Right.
The guy with the
Just
donut
put your
tat.
foot up right on the cashier. Why don't you Apple
Dude,
Pay
just
this?
fucking...
I don't mean to go on a huge tangent here, but
Go for it.
have I taken you to Granny's Donuts?
No, we talked about
Okay,
this.
I've told you
Why
about
are
it.
we not doing it on a Smash Saturday? Post lift.
It's this
Donuts.
donut shop in West St. Paul. It's a donut Nazi. But it's like the opposite. Like, dude, it is mind-blowing. So basically, you'll say, I want this donut or these 2 donuts or whatever, and he'll say, no, I'll give you 4 for the same price.
Yeah.
And you try and barter
No.
with him. I only want the 2, but he insists on 4. And finally, it'll just get to a point where
You
he
just
says,
say, fuck it.
well, no, he'll say, I'll give you the 2 for free. Okay. And then he charges you for 3 extras. It's the craziest thing.
Dude, the numbers are just flying through his head.
Yeah.
He's like,
but the best donuts
No shit.
by far in the state.
because
Okay.
everybody raves about Glam Doll, and honestly, it's good. But
Yeah.
I'll be really, really honest with you. I think it's overrated.
I've
Well,
never been
I
there.
mean,
I've never
Really?
I've never been a Glam Doll.
It's super good. But, I mean, it's
Dude,
the
it's
new...
$3.50 for a fucking donut.
Yeah, it's the new hipster donut shop. I mean, the best
Yo,
ones are the
turn that
old-
down. It's super loud. I can hear that conversation. Dude. Anyway.
Redo.
Yeah, like, let's edit out that.
Redo the whole
Yeah.
episode.
So anyway, but it's like $3.50, and I don't know, man. And now they brought Dunkin' Donuts. Not to go on a donut tangent. 99 cents a donut. That's what's up. $3.50. It's a little
Dunkin'
steep
is
for me.
awesome. For sure.
How you doing over there?
Great.
What
Great.
the
We
fuck
good?
is going on?
It
You
was
good?
actually, if you want to know, it was an emergency vet call.
Oh,
So everything is good. Don't worry.
good. Good.
He's just yelling.
Yeah,
Glad-
my dog.
glad-
Yeah, just open her. Yeah.
Oh, your dog? Yeah, well,
We're talking about fucking
Donuts.
Donuts, and my dog's dying. Okay. No, it's all
Is
good.
your dog seriously dying?
No.
No.
Okay,
He's
okay.
totally fine.
Okay. So
I was actually
Not that
trying to
much
figure
of
out
a
what was
worry.
going on with the GoPro, so we are now going to be rethink this phone app.
too much. All right. So now we're gonna get into let's okay.
that
Thank
the
you,
only
Eternal
question you
Death
guys
Slayer.
had?
No, that
it.
was Eternal Death Slayer's
Yeah.
question.
Oh, okay.
So we have an email podcast at ironingfitness.com. So
Right.
people have sent them in. So like last episode before we had. Dude, which is cool. He wrote like an essay. It was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so we kind of
Which
chopped them
one?
up
We've
a
got
little
a
bit.
couple.
Yeah, that have been
really
huge.
long response. So like the
Um,
customer, or just response has been awesome.
Yeah, a lot of good ones are like off the mental health episode. But yeah, we try to get a 1 or 2 every episode, and then we'll dive into it. So basically what we'll kind of do is we're going to tell people. So Frankie is one of the owners of Rockabilia, which is
Yep.
a merchandise kingpin.
Good
So
way
they-
to
What's
put
his
it.
name?
Do
What's
you
his
like that?
nickname?
I call Frankie, he's one of my good friends. It's Frankie. He is the Cotton King.
Well,
mean,
I think
not
I
good.
actually coined that term,
But I'm going to call you that.
But you-
I'll plug
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
I always actually use that. I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, he's the Cotton King.
Well,
Cotton King.
wasn't Cotton King supposed to be? That was a podcast name potential, wasn't it?
Oh,
It
I
was.
told you that. Yeah,
That was
you
good.
guys
Very
should call
creative.
your-
Instead of Iron and Think, we were thinking
Yeah.
to call it the Cotton Kings.
That's awesome.
I am so fucking glad we didn't go that route.
I think it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
would've
I
been-
actually like that.
Yeah.
Let's think
Well,
about that.
So now
Who won that?
Cotton Kings.
Do you know how many
Cotton Kings
Cottonmouth
episode
King
1.
fans would have been hopping on that, though?
Right.
They
Well, I mean that
loved it.
obviously. I mean, hopefully, I don't have to spell it out, but that is what it's
Yeah,
a play off
yeah.
of.
I got that. I
making
got it.
sure.
Yeah, I got it. So, company, let's do a little background.
Sure.
Let's start where you started from. So, obviously, you and
Okay.
I play in a band. You played in bands.
Yep.
Music has been a huge influence in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start before Rockabilia. So
Okay.
I've known you a little bit in my life, but you worked for Hot Topic
I
Corporate
did. Yep.
way back, right?
I mean, it wasn't 2006, 2007.
Okay, and what did you do with that company?
So I was the assistant rock tea buyer at Hot Topic.
What is
sick.
the assistant
That's-
rock tea buyer?
Exactly what it sounds like. So there's 2 rock tea buyers for the whole company
Okay.
at Hot Topic. So I worked at their HQ, and basically, yeah, I mean, all the T-shirts that you see in all the stores, somebody's got to put them there. So it was me and one other person.
So you
Nice.
did you choose the actual artists that went on the wall? So like when
Yeah.
oh you
Yeah.
did because back in the day, I used to go into Hot Topic and I'd be like, oh shit,
He
this
still
is cool.
does.
Yeah, once in a while. And I always used to check what's the new, what do they got, what's the new artist
sure,
or whatever.
yeah.
But so you actually picked what went on the wall.
yeah, we would pick, what bands
Yep,
the merch companies would come in, pitch us on designs. So yeah.
sweet,
Mm-hmm.
nice. And then how long did you do that for?
About a year.
About a year.
Yep.
And then what streamlined that into working with Rockabilia? Because I know
So, yeah.
rumor is they started in, or what I Googled, because Google never lies, 1987.
Well, you don't have to Google it.
Or is
It's
that-
in the logo. Established
Rockabilia ESC
1987.
87.
Not a whole lot of research went into that.
I tried though.
You tried.
So, what made you jump from Hot Topic over to Rockabilia?
Well, how far back do you guys want to go?
All the way back.
Like the company
Where did you go to
before.
Hey, you were born.
Yeah, you were born where?
So no, I mean, do you want to know how the company was started before I even jump?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think too, also let people understand the process of what Rockabilia does. Even though you sell a lot of products of different bands.
Sure.
What makes you guys separate from other companies and whatnot.
Sure.
So, but yeah, let's go way back.
Way back. Okay, so the company was started in 1987 by a guy named Jeff. Not you.
Really? Okay.
But I won't give his last name. I don't know if he wants to be out there. But anyway, it was started by a guy named Jeff in 1987. What had happened is he was from Minnesota. He moved out to San Diego to kind of be like part of just to be in California,
right?
First off,
the scene,
exactly.
Yeah,
and I know he was big into the '80s rocker
hair
Is this
bands
the Jeff that I met?
I don't think you ever met Jeff.
Jeff in Vegas, Magic,
John.
Whoops.
Yeah. Okay, so
same thing.
So Jeff grew up in St. Louis Park, Minnesota.
Okay.
He moved out to San Diego.
Great city.
That's where you
from.
Yeah, that's where you
That's where you're from, right?
Well, I'm actually from. We won't get into this. It's not about me, Frankie. It's not about me. Just
Rockabilia.
Rockabilia.
Okay, so basically, he decided to move out to San Diego, and he was out there, and his roommate at the time. I mean, this is '87, right? So it's pre-internet, pre-anything really. But his roommate at the time was doing some mail order company, so he was seeing his roommate getting checks and cash and money orders in the mail of I don't even know what he was selling, 3D, X-ray goggles. I have no fucking idea.
Nice.
But he decided, he kind of thought that nobody is selling this stuff outside of shows. I mean, again, you can't buy this stuff anywhere. So he hit up his parents, and his parents were very wealthy. His dad owned some big printing company in Minnesota, so they made a deal, and basically they told him that if he moved back to Minnesota, kind of get out of the party rocker scene, they would fund this company. They would start the company with them. So he started it. He came back. It was formed in '87. Time goes on. He ends up having a falling out with his two parents, late '90s. And so he decides to leave the company and forms a new company called Infinity One that basically is total in competition with Rockabilia. I mean, it was pretty crazy because I remember at that age going through the magazines like Hit Parader and Circus and Metal Maniacs and seeing there'd be a Rockabilia ad. 2 pages later, there'd be an Infinity One ad. One would say Hopkins, Minnesota. The other one would say, Eden Prairie or wherever it was at the time. Very confusing. It was the same, advertising the same exact stuff. So what ended up happening is Jeff formed Infinity One with this guy John that he had met, and John's brother Dave came on board as well. So it was the three of them with Infinity One. And then eventually Jeff, his parents decided to retire, and they kind of, mended the relationship with him, and they ended up giving him the name back. So Infinity One became, once again, Rockabilia.
Ayo.
Even though we're called Infinity One Incorporated, doing business as Rockabilia.
Sweet.
So that is the story.
Interesting.
That's a cool bit of background.
John's the guy I met. There you go.
You met John.
Yes. Cool.
Yep.
So his parents were running Rockabilia while he started the other company.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there were two competing companies
doing
the
exact
same thing.
His parents. I mean, very. I imagine that was awkward.
No shit, to say the least, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So they were running the same kind of operation, 2 different names. Then you guys got it back, merged it into back to the original name. I think you guys picked the right name. Rockabilia, stuck with that.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Definitely.
So to let people know, and also too, you were in the music industry. Let's go back to that though too.
Okay.
Because you played in bands.
Yep.
Which bands?
Also a drummer.
Do I have to say which?
Oh, yeah. I
guess
come on, dude. I want to hear them.
Okay, well, let's rewind a little bit.
Yep.
So when I was 12...
Let's go. Hey, I love how he does
high school band.
the best part. I love how he does the whole
First chair.
how far do you want to go back? Let's go back. Says the story. He goes, let's go back to when I was 12.
I'm making up my own rules. So
cool.
when I was
I love it.
12, my first show ever, concert, I guess at that level, was Stone Temple Pilots with the Meat Puppets and Red Cross. And this is when I lived in California because I was actually born in California.
When did you move to Minnesota?
When I was like 13, 14. Yeah, shortly after this.
It was because of the concert. The reaction wasn't good. I had to change states.
Totally. But yeah, I mean, I remember like after that moment, because I was super into music at that time, obviously. Why else would I be at a SDP show? But I just still remember that show like, this is what I want to do, right?
Scott Weiland just did it for you?
Well, probably not be Scott Weiland.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
R.I.P.
Yeah, right.
But,
Medina, Minnesota.
No, but like that's kind of where everything really like I want to be involved with music.
That was your very first show?
It was.
Do you want to know what mine was?
I think I know this. I know you told me. What is it?
First show ever. This is really weird.
Okay.
First Avenue.
Okay.
Sponge.
Oh, you did, yeah.
The
yeah,
Wax
for sure.
Ecstatic tour.
Yeah. Dude, that's so rad.
Right? And then after that, it was my second show. It went way bigger level. Was No Doubt, Weezer, and Face to Face.
That's awesome too.
Pretty rad.
Great lineup.
So, but anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of when it clicked right then. So went through high school, obviously. During high school, I wanted to really be a music journalist. I wanted to review CDs and do all that. I did that for our high school paper, and
That's cool.
I would write for like these little hardcore punk rock, webzines back in the day.
That's rad.
So after high school, I kind of decided I didn't want to get into that, and I wanted to just do nothing but music. So I ended up going to McNally Smith College of Music, which at the time was called Music Tech. It's a great name, right?
Yeah.
Professional.
The funny thing, I was gonna segue in. I'm
what's that look for?
The reason you stopped blogging and wanted to be in the band, I was like, because you probably don't get chicks writing the blogs. Yeah.
I don't remember actually.
Well, I stopped writing because being in the band is way
writers
cooler.
get plenty of chicks.
To be honest, I think it was just at that time. I mean, this is back in the day, and I feel like things are finally starting to change. But back then, it was like, and I did well in high school and everything, but they just beat it into you like, you got to go to a 4-year. You got to get a real degree.
We just talked
I know
about
you
it.
did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Frankie, he subscribes.
Well,
or
I don't
listen.
subscribe.
He goes, I bootlegged it, downloaded it, whatever.
Right.
that out.
So, but yeah, where were we at?
No, I was just saying about what I was going to ask you is what's interesting is you were into, like, your idea was I want to learn about these bands or tell people, journal, blog.
Yeah.
Was anybody at that time, like, I'm trying to pick my brain besides MTV, was anyone doing that shit? I mean,
that's the thing. This was like pre-anything. I remember there was like a little hardcore website called In Strife, and it was just like the, pre-metalcore hardcore. And I think I wrote a couple reviews for them maybe.
Okay.
And I think I did like a couple interviews with some bands for I think it was called the Twin Cities Hardcore Journal.
Okay.
I have all this stuff saved somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually interviewed the dude from Thrice before Thrice was like
Oh, shit.
anything. Yeah. It's kinda funny.
That's really cool.
Yeah, when they were like a Christian punk.
Oh, they were a Christian band?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still pretty
Heavily in that?
scene, yeah.
No shit. Didn't know that. What's interesting, though, it's funny how you're into that, and that was the first thing you were into, and that's, like, what's happening, like Instagram, vlogging. It's, like, the big thing now.
Sure, yeah.
You're, like, pre-Instagram, before Instagram, bro.
I invented it. So, anyway, I decided to go to McNally Smith, Music Tech. And they're in, like, a bunch of hot water right now, if you didn't hear about that.
Oh, no, what's up with that?
Well, the whole school, like, shut down over Christmas.
Why?
Nobody knows. They just, like, shut all the doors, and everyone that was going there is just totally fucked. Right
No
now.
shit?
Wow. Yeah.
Damn.
But anyway, so I was going to go there for recording. Like, I love that finished product when you get out of the studio, and it's, like, it's mastered, it's mixed, it's all that good stuff, and it's packaged and everything, but... like the process.
You don't like the structuring? I love that process. Well, seeing the structuring of the songs come together and like just picking pieces out and smashing it all together.
Dude, that's so funny. You and I are like identical because we're like, yeah, how long are these drums gonna take?
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And then I started thinking about it like, dude, I don't have patience to watch these other guys get their parts right. You know,
it's like no one gives a shit about the bass player.
Exactly.
Let's be real. No one gives a shit.
So and then I'm like, well, so what do I want to do? And the clear choice was basically music business. So that's what I got a 2-year degree in. Nice. And then, so I was going to school there for that. And I kind of started to like, this was when everything was starting to change. So it was interesting. I just remember like everyone there was basically competing for the same like 3 jobs. It's like you were either going to get out of here and you were going to work at Universal, Warner Brothers, or Jimmy John's. Those were pretty much the 3 choices. And
mine was Starbucks.
Dude,
the English
barista? Starbucks wasn't even that big back then.
No, it wasn't. They weren't popping.
So long ago. So anyway, so I just remember like trying to do all this shit while I was in school. Like I would literally just go through every place I could find on Google, or Yahoo probably back in the day. Web crawler, Prodigy, AOL, whatever it was, and I'd be like, who?
Spitguard.
Yeah.
Crucial to sound quality.
Right. Yeah. Right. Who has anything to do with music in Minnesota? And I would just hit them up. Are you looking for anybody?
It's grinding, dude.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I think I literally had like 5 internships at one time. I mean, all I did was just intern at Warner Brothers or WIA. ADA.
Like you would go to one place and then
pretty much, yeah. And then even just online stuff too. Like I remember I was like a message board moderator for some record label, just like whatever I could do. And I didn't really see anybody else doing that stuff. And I'm like, somebody, like, you gotta have real world experience because, you know, at the end of the day, like I remember just thinking, you know, you can't really teach somebody to work at a record label.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they just think it's probably all glitz and glam. Yeah. Like, they're like, oh, it's the record label. It's like, dude, there's so much bullshit that goes down behind the scenes.
For sure.
You know, that you're doing at Rockabilia that we do here. It's like, they just like the cool idea, oh, I work for a label. Totally. They just want to say that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I ended up getting I think it was a paid internship. I don't know if I was technically an employee, but it was this place called Liquid 8 Records. Do you remember that?
Some reason that does stick out a little bit.
It was in Minnetonka, and it was so weird. Like, what they did was basically... oh, my God. They put out all these tribute albums back in the day, and it was basically their whole business model was to trick people into buying them. So what would happen is you'd go to Best Buy, and you'd be, like, looking at Linkin Park, right? And there'd be a Linkin Park tribute album as played by, like, some string quartet in Minnesota.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, you were that guy responsible.
Well, no.
Dude, shady
fucker.
It gets worse. I'll get into what I actually did there. So that was, like, the kind of records that they put out. But then basically what they did is trick parents into, like, you know, if you're buying your kid a Linkin Park or Metallica CD for Christmas, because this was when people still bought CDs, they would find that and they would just think, oh, here's a Linkin Park CD, and they'd buy it.
So for the naive people, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which we can piggyback off that on something. You know where I'm going to go with that one.
I don't.
You don't?
I mean,
sure.
I could probably...
I'll fill you in.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right. So anyway, but then the guy who owned the label started like signing really just weird, random, like big acts. Like he signed Smokey Robinson.
Seriously?
Yeah, a Midnight Oil, and
they were big.
Fear Factory.
Oh no.
And I think Fear Factory was kind of like why they brought me on, because it was like their first metal band and all this, and it was for one of their albums, Archetype, and. All I remember really, because again this was so long ago, what they had me do was basically like forge all their autographs on all the CDs, all the guitars, the snare drums, whatever it was that
you were Fear Factory.
I was in Fear Factory. So I mean, literally, it got to the point where they were like just giving me their passports and like trace this. No and I remember them saying, oh my God, you were so good at this, which I don't know if that's really a compliment or what. I mean, I guess it is. But I was doing the same thing for Smokey Robinson. So if anyone has a signed Smokey
it's probably
Robinson
Frankie
CD out there, it's probably me. Probably about as far from Smokey you can get. But
hey, you got a little Smokey in you.
So anyway,
that's crazy.
And honestly, right, like when I was there, it was such a clusterfuck. And I remember they just lost their asses on the Midnight Oil record. I think they pressed something like 100,000 copies. That was just you'd go into their warehouse and it was just wall to wall Midnight Oil. I mean, do you remember that band?
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly. That's why I'm like, I think it's
not
very
a
odd.
big seller.
No. But when you said Smokey and then you said Fear Factor, I was
made
like,
no sense.
Right, but what's weird is, did they bankroll a lot of cash flow on these fake tribute or whatever
they
albums?
did. I mean,
because to sign those bands, they had to have ponied up some cash.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they must have made it off these tribute, like whatever they are. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. And then this is where kind of all the timeline starts to get fuzzy, but something happened with the owner where he was embezzling money through a car wash or something. And so
very Walter White.
I know this.
Very Walter
just
White.
forging records, embezzling in a car.
Sounds like a real
boy.
winner.
Dude, when is? Can I ask you a question?
What?
We haven't even got that deep. When's the fucking book coming out?
Dude,
you could have an awesome book.
I know. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I don't mean to talk bad about any of these people, but they're not even around anymore. And the one guy, I mean, you can find it online. He went to prison for.
Oh no, it's not talking bad. It's just great stuff. Did he? Oh yeah, for embezzling.
Yeah.
Sure.
But anyway, so in the midst of all this, I was just like, just trying to get a job, finding out what I want to do. Because at that label, it was the cliche, what do you want to do when you're done with music school? I want to work for a record label.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the problem was, it was like, trust kill, as you know.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to work for them and all these labels. I would hit everybody up, but everybody was just so small that it was like, they didn't really have full-time employees, and they certainly weren't going to like move people out there.
Right.
So my friend and I, we actually started our own label, and we ran that for a few years, and we were just trying to we were just grinding. I mean, we were trying to get distro, and that's what we wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. But we kind of had a little falling out, and I moved to California and had...
So you moved back to California?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, let me rewind a little bit here. So in the midst of starting this label, it was called Feeling Faint. It was hardcore metal. We put out probably like 10 releases or something. I got a job at Rockabilia, and I was just trying to find like a full-time gig to kind of supplement running the label with my friend. And I think it just hit me because I had ordered from them a few times when I was in high school. And I even remember like ordering once, finding out they were in Minnesota, and just going to the Eden Prairie location and like picking up the Iced Earth belt buckle. I think is what it was.
You still have
person. That? I don't think I do.
I was like, you should wear that.
Right. I don't even have a belt anymore. Probably get that first.
Yeah.
Who needs a belt these days?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I hit them up. And I remember the guy was just like a total dick when I called. I was like, are you guys hiring? He's like, for what? And I'm like,
yes.
I will literally do anything. I just want to go there. And he was just totally weird about it, and finally was like, well, I mean, all we really need is someone to like drive a forklift, which to this day I still don't even understand, because we have a forklift.
You never use it.
No one used it, and no one's used it back then.
It just makes it seem...
I think he was just trying to like be an asshole.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
be tough.
So I just relentlessly, like, once I had a contact there, I just emailed him and left him voicemails and called.
I love it, dude.
And finally he was just like, all right, just come on down for an interview. So I remember going down there, like, it was like a Monday or Tuesday night, Chanhassen, which is like kind of in the middle of nowhere in
sure is.
Minnesota.
Yep, sure is.
It's not. It's very centrally located.
Like nowadays, like it seems fine to me.
Yeah.
But back then it was very
cornfields,
like, it felt far. Yeah. It's very built up now. But I remember driving out there, dead of winter, it's pitch black. I go in, and he's just like, the interview process was the weirdest thing ever. He was basically like, all right, alphabetize clutch and Cradle of Filth and just like all these bands. And
wait, your test was alphabetizing?
Pretty much, because it was like, you know.
Just for band merch?
Well, it was during... Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was basically a seasonal job for just like warehouse work for gearing up for the holidays. So he gave me the job, and again, as I was saying, I was kind of running the label at the same time. And then, you know, I think that it never really clicked like, oh, this is just a warehouse job. Like, I need to get out of here. It was more like, there's a lot of potential here.
Totally.
I love it here. I need to start, you know, carving my own path in this company. And Jeff, the guy who, again, originally started the company, definitely saw that in me, because he ended up essentially firing Ryan, which is the guy that hired me.
The guy that was the dick with the forklift.
Yeah, well, I ended up really liking Ryan.
Oh, okay.
So he was just...
He was a good dude.
Well, yeah. No, Ryan's awesome. He was just like... He just had that personality,
totally.
like, until you get to know him. He's very, like, blunt and very... He put on a face. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So anyway, basically, Jeff wanted to get rid of Ryan and gave me his job, which was basically, you know, more or less assisting Jeff, being his assistant buyer, so to speak, bringing in product, kind of helping out with some of the ads and the marketing of the company. And I did that for about a year, I would say. And then that's when I just really had the bug to go out to LA, work out there, and, you know, try and be in a band that blows up.
Right.
So I was hitting up bands out there, and I ended up getting a really good job offer from Hot Topic Corporate, and for it to be the assistant rock tea buyer. So they moved me out there, played in, I mean, it was nothing serious. I jammed with a few people, and it was like, I love California, but it is such a grind
out
there. Like, all I remember is you're kind of in the vicinity of all this cool shit, but you can't do any of it. You know what I mean? Because it takes so long to do anything. I mean, I remember...
Kind of like traffic and shit like that?
Oh, yeah. Like, I remember I got, you know, free tickets to any show I wanted because of Hot Topic. And we got tickets to go see Morrissey.
Nice.
And it took 4 hours in LA, to LA, to get to this show.
Another spot in LA.
Yeah.
Show was in LA.
Yeah. I mean,
holy fuck.
And you know, it's like we had Disneyland and Universal passes, the year passes. You could never go because you'd literally have to carve out an entire day just to like. I mean,
it's not about how far it is. It's traffic.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
My brother lives when I was in California about maybe 10 miles north of base, and I remember the worst it ever was. It's so on average it should probably only take 25 minutes to get there.
For sure.
Took 4 hours at once, where I could have fallen asleep, taken a nap for an hour, woke up, didn't move.
Totally.
It's awful.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like, and then sometimes like putting that in perspective, because when we did our record out there, I didn't realize that until I went, we were in Bel Air going to Van Nuys, which is like boom, boom, right down the highway. And it was 11:38, never forget this, at night. Mm-hmm. At night PM on a weekday.
For sure.
Dude, everyone stop. A guy pulls out a lawn chair, pops it on his roof, and then he just sits there and he like basically took a nap.
Totally.
And so I just think it's, you know, I complain about traffic here and shit, but I need to realize
it's nothing.
It's nothing.
So I have a question for you.
I'm not done with my story, Alex.
Well, it has to. It has to go with your story.
I'm going into a million different.
So you're talking about going out to LA to try to pursue a music career.
Right. Yep.
While going up to this, while you were still back in Minnesota, were you playing consistently, or were you strictly working like Rockabilia, all these odd jobs and everything?
No, during this whole time period too. Yeah, I was in a band that was from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, so I was making a drive to and from there.
You're not.
It's my old stomping ground, homie.
Probably saw us live, dude.
Band name for the people. Come on,
Frankie.
Band name.
It's called The Dead Romance.
Hey, that's a good name.
It was
a great name.
It was like a hardcore metalcore, you know, Avenged Sevenfold, As They Lay Dying, that whole type of...
You were always a drummer, correct?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all
So I have another question. Can we bring up Macklemore?
Well, I'll get to that later.
Okay.
I mean, that's way later.
I didn't know if that was time period wise.
No.
So that's way
I don't
later.
think Macklemore was around at that.
No,
there's no
definitely
way.
not.
There's
He
no
didn't
way.
exist.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
All right, we'll get back to that.
So where was I?
You're out in L.A.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so what I came to find, again, I love California. I wanted to be around, the music scene out there, but it was like I couldn't even have time to be in a band because I would get up. It would take me almost 2 hours to get to work, the commute, and then it would take me about 2 hours to get home, and it was 10-hour days. So it was 14 hours in the car.
It's your entire day.
Or 14 hours away from home. When do you have time to be in a band?
Yeah.
When do you have time to do
Totally.
all this? And what I also learned out there is just that, I can't say anything bad about working for the company. It was great. But it's also not my jam. Like, I don't want to work for this huge corporate, 600-700 employees. There's people that you see every day that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a different space. I like kind of wearing different hats and doing different things, on a daily basis.
For sure.
So basically decided to move back, and I had basically called Jeff and just kind of told him, and no one wanted me to go in the first place, so they gave me a much better offer to come back. Came back, and as far as the ownership thing, John and Dave and Jeff they've always had kind of a different relationship, but over the past couple years it got pretty strained and pretty bad. And so Jeff basically decided to leave the company, and I was able to take over for him. So now it's the three of us.
So these were all three original owners?
Well, except
that
for
were
Jeff's
there?
parents.
Okay.
Who have both passed away.
Okay.
But yeah.
So from day one, same guys.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's a come up story right there,
yeah,
Don.
it is.
The grind and the
VH1.
hustle of Frankie Cotton King Blydenburgh.
So it's been
That's right.
it's been a little over a year now, correct? Since you've been an official owner?
Sort of. So Jeff left at the end of April last year, and then all my paperwork, because that's a whole, process,
Yep.
basically went through at the end of July.
Yeah.
So,
Because I remember when you it's a huge
awesome.
thing. It's
Yeah.
super awesome.
yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of times too, it's funny how, playing music, it's like, and even as you change your age, it's like from when you were younger, it's like you want to do it, but then you and I know like the behind the scenes shit. And I feel that's the thing, is perspective of like, everyone just sees the second they come in to the show to leaving, but they don't see really what goes on, the grind and getting along with.
Totally.
I mean, shit, you had how many members in your hip hop, like, or like the other band, like post or after the hardcore band?
Well,
right?
I think the Dead Romance, we literally had probably 20 or 30 members. It was a joke to where, like, who wasn't in this band?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's tough. I played in a pop punk band basically when I came back, I was, before becoming an owner, I was doing Rockabilia and I was super focused on it, but I also still wanted to do music full time as well. Like, my dream was always to do both.
Totally.
So I was doing this pop punk band. We got pretty far. We toured a lot, which was nice too, because, Rockabilia never, when I was an employee there, never had an issue.
Yeah, I was to say, you could not have picked a better job to land
cool
unless you owned your own company.
Right.
But that is like, that's a sweet deal.
Did they ever back you on anything for like tours and all that kind of thing?
Like financially or what?
Yeah, like sponsorships, that kind of thing for tours or anything like that?
No, but I never really asked either.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is just timing.
Yeah.
I never felt like the timing was right, and I really didn't know what that would entail anyway.
Yeah.
Also, were they back then, were they sponsored? Like, was that even a thing? Sponsoring tours? Because now you see it. It's like, Rockstar Energy, and they make it apparent, like, who's sponsoring. But, like, when I went to shows years and years ago, like, I never knew about that shit. Or if it existed, but...
I think it did. Actually, now that you mention it, I do remember when I was doing the label, we would do these, like, little sampler CDs back when those were a thing. And they would let me, like, throw them in orders. So if someone ordered a band shirt, we put out this record that, fans of that band would...
Right.
It would translate. We'd throw one in. So, yeah, they were always super supportive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was doing
Super
this
cool.
pop punk band, and we got pretty far. We were talking to labels, and then it was just the classic, like, the singer, you know. And I know you know this too.
Yeah.
A lot of bands don't want to hear the truth, and that's when everything starts to implode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we got far, and we got, you know, we were close to getting a deal, but it was like, and that's a whole other story about walking on the back and...
The which one? What, the one for Victory you're talking about, or what?
No. Walking on somebody's back. I've told you this story.
Go ahead. Fire it
I
up.
have to edit this one out. But
no, it's all
basically, Drive Through Records, who had, you know, Newfound Glory, Dashboard Confessional. They were a giant. Oh,
in about
huge.
like what 2002 era.
Yep. Finch,
Midtown. I mean, holy fuck.
What year were you in contact with these people?
What year was that? 2008, maybe.
Okay.
8,
9.
So they're still.
They didn't have that. You know, they weren't as big as they were, but they were still very well known. But yeah, basically, we were talking to them, and one of the things that the guy makes you do is, you have to walk on his back. So basically, and again, this isn't really like you can find this on Google with Newfound Glory and Dashboard, and everybody that he signed, everybody did it. I mean, it's like everybody knows about it. He basically he flew out here from, I think he lived in Sherman Oaks, California.
Sure. Yep.
He moved out here, or no, he didn't move out here. He came out here. We met at his hotel. He lays face down on the floor, puts your record on. He reads your lyrics, so you have to, like, you know, type up all your lyrics to the songs he's going to listen to. And he reads them while every member takes turns walking on his back.
Is this like supposed to be like a metaphor or something?
We have...
See, I thought he was talking about, like, I put the team on my back or something, but this is actually like
that.
Like,
no, literally, the team is.
That team,
what was it?
The team is literally walking on his back.
So what was that like?
Really degrading,
yeah.
I guess. You know what I mean?
Like, not to you, but like that's
Isn't
weird.
It's
like,
more degrading for the person on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't you be? Did you have shoes on or off?
Off.
That's
of course,
because now you can like
tattooed.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, this is
fucking
pretty
hippie
foot tattoo.
But you know what I mean? It's like, I would feel like that's totally like one of those fetish things. That's probably what it is.
That's
it was very creepy.
And also an ego. Like, I guarantee he was like, oh yeah, and it became like the thing people talked about.
That's the weirdest ego to have. Like, literally walk on
I can think of worse shit, but I mean, it's like,
well, let's be real though. Like, you and I, how many stories like this have we heard, or do we know of, or have we experienced personally? Yeah. And it just totally kind of turns you off from everything in a way.
Yeah, I mean, now, and this is like, and like, I'm 33, you're 34?
34,
right?
yeah.
And it's like, so this is pre-social media, right? So the only thing is what keeps it a mystery. It's word of mouth. So like back then when you did this whole like walking on the back weird shit.
Well, that was 2008, so I mean,
I guess.
But
get a Nokia
MySpace.
by then.
What was the conversation with the other band members after?
What the fuck did we just do? That was horrible. I mean, but we knew about it, and
like, what was it like during it? Were you guys like looking at each other like, is he serious?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was awkward, but it's just one of those things that it's like, dude, you just want to make it so bad you'll do anything. I mean, it's sad, but literally,
back then,
how all these bands, you know, basically they'll do anything for a deal.
Right.
So anyway, basically at the end of that whole disaster, they basically, you know, he just said, you know, your singer's not writing enough hits. There's no hit yet. Sure. So he kind of, you know, the vocalist at the time, he just basically wanted to go solo, and the band disbanded. So that was that. And then I ended up just shortly after that, a band that I was in previously, they kind of branched off and did this new thing, and they were getting a lot of like buzz in the local scene, and the timing was perfect. He called me up, and yeah, I did that for a while, and same thing. We got super close to a couple different things, and then imploded.
Just no cigar.
Because of one member, or because
that was more just like a combination of things.
Totally.
I mean, that was like a mess in itself, because it was a 6-person band.
Yeah.
And it's like,
this was the hip hop band, right?
Yeah, and 2 vocalists, so that didn't get along.
It kind of narrates like the thing. Like, you would definitely say there's a string of luck involved for making it too, right?
It's the combination of everything, right? It's like you got to be at the right place at the right time. You
got to
have the
know
song.
The right connect.
You got to know the people. They got to want to help you. It's so many different things.
But like in short, like some of the factors, like they just have to line up. Like it's the same thing. Like it's just luck.
And the thing is, though, from back like when you're talking about from like the drive-through records, the what were some of the other ones? Ferret,
Ferret,
Trust Kill,
all those. Yeah,
that was like when cell phones are around, but this is like literally was MySpace. That was it.
Sidekicks too.
And Sidekicks, dude. I had that. The fucking T-Mobile. That thing was.
Ever.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
But this was like a time where, it's like there was no other way to promote unless you were tied to a label. It's like the label had all of the power. And it's like, I'll decide. Like, you'll walk on my back, but you don't have a hit. So it's just like in bodybuilding or like fitness shows. That guy, the weirdo that you just walked on his back, is the guy that makes the decision if you make it or not. Times have changed.
100%. Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, what were you just saying? It's, you don't really, back then it's like if you were on Ferret or Trust Kill or Drive Through, people would just go buy your record
because you were on that label. Yep.
And that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, it's a whole different ball game now.
Yeah.
But
and it's funny because like I think, and the game's changed. I mean, a lot of people know a lot about this stuff, but when it comes to self-promotion, DIY, doing it yourself, like the old school punk way, is the way now, or the wave that is riding, because bands are popping up and labels are shitting themselves because they're like, these guys don't.
Like Our Last Night is a great example.
They're actually a really good example. They were signed doing their thing, and we have a few friends that, in the behind the scenes that basically said that's a well-oiled machine, that they figured out the ups and downs and do's and don'ts, and they're like, actually, we don't need this. Go to all the band members' social media. It's all popping. The band's got it all just dialed into like merchandise sales, ticket sales.
Yep.
They're all in-house. Like, they have a crew of 2 people. They have their manager and their booking agent. They're, like, doing it.
Yeah, and they're popping off singles just all the time.
Well, not even, like,
new content.
I remember just watching something that actually you showed me on YouTube. You were over for dinner a while ago.
Yep.
And then, like, I was just, like, I would watch this normally. It was just them doing, like, 10, 15-second covers of songs. And it was, like,
it was, like,
entertaining.
Did you ever see that, Frankie?
Yeah.
It was Jock Jams, like, songs you shouldn't play live.
Yep.
Great, it had like millions of hits. But I mean, that's the thing, is they're monetizing. They're making money off just their YouTube views.
For sure.
And then they're like, oh, do we even need a tour? Not really. Oh, I guess we will. We can, because I want a good 2-week vacation and play sold-out shows.
Right.
Like, they figured it all out, And it was at the right... And even with them having these things for free, it was timing as well. Getting out of their label with Epitaph and whoever they were with at the time, jumping off and going, okay, are we screwed? And there was like a little bit of a hiatus with those guys, and where they kind of like picked it up as they banged out a cover song, and it just blew up. And this was like right when covers, the whole, what is it, Pop Goes Punk Volume 1 through 5,000, where they had bands covering cover songs, pop songs, and they just did, I think, 1 or 2 cover songs, and like, oh shit, this is the ticket. Rode that train, put it on YouTube. There you go. The rest is history.
That's actually kind of what I want to ask you about, Frankie, is like just like opportunity, because obviously you've like worked really hard. You were doing the whole forklift like thing, the story you just told.
Can I see you drive one like now?
Oh, dude, I actually ask your question, I gotta tell you this.
For sure. My question is on that is just basically like not at all to discourage people from saying like it's a bunch of luck and you're not going to make it. Oh no,
not at all.
But like, I truly believe, and I kind of want to get your opinion on it, is like the harder you create like opportunities, the better your chance at getting that stream of luck is, because you're going to see the actual things unfolding.
Yep, 100%. I mean, we've talked about this all the time. It's honestly who you know, how well respected you are. If people like you, they want to work with you. I mean, if anything, I think being in a band right now is a super exciting time, because there is no roadmap. I mean, people can pop off.
Do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, in
any way. I mean, it's not like how it used to be, where again you had to get signed to one of those labels.
2-year album cycle. Exactly. You have to tour 365 days out of the year. It's like, oh my gosh.
I mean, now it can be anything that sets off the chain reaction. So.
I think I'm talking about what's cool, and I didn't know this about you, which is good to hear. And it's awesome. I commend you on also that work ethic, and I feel that that's a rare thing. It's something that like I instill that.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, these guys do too, is why I work with them and the team that I have. But it's one of those things like that. Just even though it's pre-technology, even though we have the technology now, that's still your attitude. And I feel, and like you said, people want to be in business with people that you like. Yeah. Like, I like this guy. Like, I don't do business with people that I dislike because I'm like, I don't want to tolerate this person. They suck. Like, they're a shitty person. Yep. You know, and I feel like that hustle mentality is just...
I think that's awesome. That's the best huge definition like we've seen of hustle like so far. I think on this podcast, it's like you're right. That stood out to me immediately when you were like, I had 5 different internships. Like I don't care. Like I'll freaking pour you a coffee. Just let me come in the building.
That's that mindset.
That's like the go get it mentality.
For sure. And I mean, this isn't just me like saying this. Like even now, like I don't view what I do as work really. It's like
that's the ultimate goal.
It's kind of an extension of who I am. And like
That's why this brand exists, and like that's why you and I are on that same level. Yeah. It's a great feeling when you can do something like that and also provide value in your business for other people, you know. Yeah. But I think a lot of people just lose sight of that, the eating shit, the pouring coffee, the like this blows. And then they just think it's going to be all glam. I go, you have to do that. And you have to be okay with it.
Well, even, what you just said, like, there's no map. Like, so many people do have that mindset. Like, this is a warehouse gig. I'm going to have it for the summer instead of doing what you did. And it's like, how can I advance through this company and, like, go off of what they're telling me I can and can't do?
For sure.
Yeah, I think you've done a lot of things that a lot of people don't do. Obviously, you back and forth from California, just trying all these different avenues, but in the same realm of what you want to do. Sure. Yeah. I have a question. So you started working at Rockabilia. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you left, came back, and everything. But what exact? So it's kind of this is just part of it. Yeah. When did you first start with Rockabilia?
2005, maybe.
So 2005. It's 2018 now. So you've been with Rockabilia for. What has it been like, and how is it to see the changes of Rockabilia? So back then, you know, CD sales were still popping. There weren't all these other, you know, social media avenues where you can get, you know, pop an ad off on Instagram, sell. So it's all magazine based. What has it been like for you to see the company evolve over time? Because you've been with them for a significant amount of time. Looking back on your first day at Rockabilia to owning it now.
The big thing is you want to look at also how the industry in music has changed and how apparel has changed. Because those are you know what I mean? Because both avenues have changed, right? Drastically. Like the music industry is taking this weird, like people aren't buying hard copies. Now Spotify. And then now with your company being a merchandise company, you know, how has apparel changed from 2005 to 2018, or how is the clothing, you know, because there is kind of two angles to look at it. You know, apparel can be popping. I mean, I'll give you my intake on that in music, but I'm interested to hear that from 2005 to today.
That's a good question, yeah.
Well, I would say when I first started, I mean, and I even remember this from going to shows. I remember going to see, like, In Flames, right? And
they're still doing it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I remember going to see them, and I wanted a shirt, and I wanted a size small, because that's what I wear. Still wear.
Oh, I remember this story.
Have I told you this story?
Yeah.
No. And they were like, the smallest size we have is an XL, or a large, or whatever it was.
For real?
Yeah, so, this is what I'm getting at. So back in the day, all people made were like large and XL, and that's it. And then medium started creeping in, and even when I started at Rockabilia, like we would have all these scene bands at the time, but we'd only have larges in stock or XLs or whatever.
Sure.
And I'd be like, you guys, like,
smalls. What about me?
I mean, this was like the emo, like...
I don't eat.
Screamo phase, you know what I mean?
Like, hair drooping to one side over your eye.
You're totally missing the boat.
Did you ever have long hair?
No, I wish.
I can't have a picture on my phone.
Long hair?
No, of you with the mustache, your band.
Dude, I look exactly the same.
No, you don't.
But anyway, So I mean, there was that change, which is just a super obvious one. And then, you know, we started seeing it in the music merch industry where, like, back in the day, it was, you know, your large and XL shirts. It was the beefy Hanes tees. And now you're seeing a lot of, I mean, this is going back years, but it's a lot of slim fits now, a lot of, you know, higher end stuff that people are buying. By the way,
can you guys make tall shirts? Can that be next on the list? Talls?
Are you talking to these guys?
I'm talking. Well, yes, actually, I'm talking to you. But I'm talking to you too.
Well, he wears Eddie Bauer pre-meeting us, so I'm not even going to go down that road.
Tall, slim fit.
Because that clothing brand can just go away.
Yeah. So I would say there's that, and we do carry some tall tees, by the way.
All right.
A lot of people do make them. But yeah, I mean that's a big
just
one.
Just the plug right there. Yeah. I'll send you discount code.
Rockabilia.com.
Rockabilia.com. Yeah. By the way, we do have tall tees. I'll send you discount code 10%.
Right. Well, he asked. I mean, it's a lot more fashion forward than it used to be. I will say that, and you definitely have like some disgruntled, you know, metalheads that I think are like, why is this shirt only in a soft tee or whatever.
A youth small.
Right.
Totally.
I mean, prices have gone up. That's just the nature of apparel. I mean, it really...
For blanks per unit.
Well, for everybody.
Yep. I mean, it has for us as well. Yep.
Now, so...
Well, I mean, like, it's got to change every couple of years because with just, like, you know, society swinging and how people...
Changes every year.
Yeah.
And we really... I mean, we still charge, like, $19.99 for a basic shirt, you know, unless it costs...
It's a good deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and another thing, is it kind of a surreal thing for you where you started out driving a forklift, not actually driving it?
Looking at it.
I still got to tell you that story.
Yeah,
looking at
but
it.
To being one of the decision makers on how the company is run.
I mean, yes and no. I think it was such a gradual change. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, you knew me before I was the owner.
Yep.
Felt like I was.
Do you totally change? Like, you're a total dick now.
Yeah.
Just throw money out of his car.
The valet.
No. The valet. You pull up here, you're like, can you park this? You just throw your keys at me. I'm like, dude.
No, but it's just one of those things where it's like, it just started to gradually happen. I mean, I remember, and this is no, you know, I'm not bad-mouthing him whatsoever because he grinded and built the company up, but Jeff got to a point in his life where he worked a day and a half a week.
Right.
2 days a week.
Right.
So it's like, who was
just the
decision guy
totally
when he was gone? I mean, I distinctly remember we got served with a lawsuit, which is a whole other story, but guy came in, served Jeff because Jeff's name was on the lawsuit because he owns the company.
Sure.
Jeff throws it at me and says, all right, see you next week. I mean, so it was never a thing where, like, all of a sudden one day I get the keys and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? It's been such a, like, small gradual build up that it was very natural.
Yeah, I think that's the best way too, and I think you have that ability to be in that role clearly. I mean,
thank you. And it's funny because when I kind of, you know, started calling people and sending out emails and telling them what's going on, like the vendors we buy from and the magazines that we advertise and everything, they would just be like, oh, I thought you already were an owner or one of the owners.
That's the best sign, dude. That's the best sign. That's good. Yeah. That means you have a good relationship with people.
I remember talking to you, Jeff, about this just, I think even like last week. Is like the entire goal, that doesn't surprise me because the entire goal of a company is getting it to self-manage itself where you can get to that point.
Yeah.
But that's also cool because of the opportunity for people like you to come in and gradually take over that role without this huge like power shift.
Yep, totally.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's awesome, too, that natural change, you know, for the better. I mean, even looking at, I'm sure John and Dave are, you know, it just makes sense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, certain things, you don't have to, like, overthink it. It's like, dude, this is just a no-brainer. Especially if your clientele, you know, your vendors are like, oh, yeah, dude, I thought you already were.
Yeah.
It's that natural progression that makes sense. It's awesome, dude.
Definitely.
It's really cool. Yeah. What is the big question I have now? So
what is the forklift story?
We'll get to that. But what my big thing is, so the music, we know kind of like, or at least anyone people tuning in kind of know maybe the background slightly on the music world.
Okay.
How the industry's changed, right? People bought physical CDs. I think shows are still valid. Like, people, like, obviously still go to shows. I think no matter what, at the end of the day, that will never go away.
Right.
Unless you do the Tupac hologram bullshit. But the shows are always going to be there. Yep. The main thing is, how does that shift into sales of apparel is my big question. So obviously you're a big giant vendor. You work with a lot of different brands. You distribute.
We're a retailer, Jeff.
Retailer. Proper, yeah. Okay, retailer. So what have you noticed in the change of music? What's gone with the apparel side? Now, besides apparel fluctuating, like, okay, these units are going to cost you another $1, a unit now this year than last year.
Yep.
What has, like, sales or in general, how is band merch doing? Because I feel it's one of those things that's never going to go away, right?
For sure.
And it's always around.
It's a fashion statement.
It is, totally. Especially with when we saw the big shit in the news of, like, which was, by the way, I saw this like a week ago, one of the Jenners. And then the dude of Slayer said, like...
Oh, no, I showed you that, right?
Yeah, but then I saw it and, like, I was dying. I saw it on my phone. I was
it
scrolling.
the Kill the Kardashians
Kill the
thing?
Kardashians, he's on stage. So, like, when they started basically taking, like, AC/DC shirts or Black Sabbath, they chopped them up, dyed them and shit, threw it on a jacket. Like a Louis Vuitton or some fancy shit. Yep. And a TMZ paparazzo was like, boom, 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 takes a shot of it.
Sure.
That's when kind of like band merch people are like, oh shit, that's when the fashion, like, really, I feel, kind of went to that next level, you know? Mm-hmm. But, like, fill me in on your take of the whole, how at shows it sells, what you see, with your company or even competitors. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck, what was Smart Punk I know of?
Sure.
Shit, they were one. Merch Now. They're still around, I think. Correct?
Oh, yeah.
Merch Now.
We buy from Merch Now.
And the European one, what's with the
Empiricon?
Yep, them. Yep. So, like, how is all that? Like, can you fill us in on that, the back end of the industry of, like, how band merch is selling? Is it more of they kill it on tours?
I think it's a combination of everything, right? I mean, a lot of the merch companies that have these licenses, a lot of their money is in touring. I mean, if you have the worldwide exclusive rights to print Metallica merch or Iron Maiden, I mean, all you need is one tour, and you're probably set for years, right?
Sure.
As far as like a retail...
No, so basically you
can edit all this.
Yeah. So basically you were talking about how, like, Bravado has a contract basically when they have major licensing. So that's how, my question was, with music changing, now how is apparel being affected by that?
Got it.
And what have you noticed? And not necessarily from 2005 to now, but more of, like, what's been going on. Because, I mean, you and I have a lot of similar...
For sure.
Parallels here, even though I'm an independent clothing company, but you're, selling, I mean, everything from a fucking Metallica shirt to a Michael Bolton tee,
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Do you sell Bolton?
I think we do.
I might.
I mean, we've had it
cool.
at one point.
I'm gonna get one.
If we don't right this second.
Okay.
But I mean, you got to look at bands like Nirvana and Led Zeppelin and Motley Crue, Iron Maiden, Misfits, Metallica, all these bands who are just like larger than life, right? I mean, people are always going to wear that stuff. I mean, you even have kids coming up right now that are, 11, 12 years old that are rocking Nirvana shirts.
Totally.
I mean, it's like that's the new classic rock now. And it's just like, I mean, we've had this conversation so many times. It's weird that we haven't really replaced these iconic, huge bands with anybody else.
Yeah.
Really?
And
there's a few.
Yeah, it really fucks with me because you brought that up and then I kind of felt weird. I was like, that's such a good point, but I feel like with times, so an example would be when Metallica's gone or when GNR's gone. Who's going to replace those guys? The closest we said was like, and I hate to say, Five Finger.
No, I mean, I think like Avenged Sevenfold is probably one of the last like huge iconic bands that really came up. Maybe Five Finger. Will stand the test of time. I don't know.
Do you think they will ever go away?
Who?
Like Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, that kind
That's
of...
the thing,
kind
man. I mean, it's like... You would think at this point, everyone that wanted a Ride the Lightning shirt had one, but we still sell them all day long.
Time.
I mean, that's what people want. That's what they want to wear. And a lot of, going back to like the Kardashians and everything, I mean, Kanye West has been spotted wearing like Testament t-shirts.
Yeah.
And Cradle of Filth, and I don't even think he knows those bands. It's like, it's a cool graphic, it's a cool logo, it's a fashion statement.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we're selling clothes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And people need clothes. Like, everyone needs t-shirts.
Yeah.
Everyone needs clothing to live. But, I mean, I would say that the biggest thing that we've seen in the last few years is just the amount of bootlegging out there. That, you know, it's funny going back to kind of like the whole label thing. When I was doing that and, you know, I wanted to work at a label, that was when the whole downturn started to happen where people weren't really buying CDs.
Yep.
You know, Napster was out and all these things. And the mindset has always been, well, you can't download a t-shirt. Like,
it's true.
You can't. I mean, you have to buy it. But now, of course, people find a way. This whole thing with Amazon, and I mean, I'm sure everyone listening has seen, if you like any band on Facebook, you've seen an ad pop up in your feed.
Right.
Available for 24 hours only, this Metallica shirt, and it'll be the stupidest, like, hey, I'm from, the shirt will literally say, I'm from Minnesota and love Metallica.
Yeah.
And it'll have their logo. It's
total bullshit.
It's total copyright infringement bullshit, and the whole entire industry has struggled with this over the past couple of years about how to combat these people, because Amazon is like the biggest company in the world right now, right? So it's like, how do you go up against that?
Which is interesting because you have a contract with your company with Amazon.
Right,
which is good.
On Amazon.
And you sell on Amazon, but here's the funny thing. So he talked to me about this, like, it'll be Rockabilia's, like, legitimate product. Mm-hmm. $18.99 on Amazon or whatever, even $15.99 or whatever, and it's the real deal. Mm-hmm. But like right above that, it'll be the bootleg, and it'll say like $5.99. And the average person, the average Joe's like, fuck, $5.99. They click it without thinking. And what was the one example you said? The shirt was the model in the picture shrunk and superimposed on the shirt wearing the shirt.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So it was the person you saw wearing the fake shirt was scanned on the shirt, and now you're out $5.99, and you have to wait a month to get it. Yeah. And it came from some no-name, and then by the time you guys shut it down or make an attempt,
you can't. I mean,
or you can't even do that.
It's just a big loophole, it's a big it's just a big like circle that you go in with trying to fight Amazon and trying to fight these bootleggers,
which is
so
Facebook. And
question, there's all these obviously fake companies that come up and bootleg product.
Yep.
Is there, because you can shut them down as fast as they pop right back up,
sure.
Is there a way to actually get a hold of this situation and stop it in any way?
I mean, everyone's been trying in my whole entire industry for like the past couple of years. I mean, it's gotten a lot better since November of 2017. So we're like literally just now starting to see a lot of those people go away. And so it is changing for the better, but as far as like stopping it completely, I mean.
So do you think it could possibly just be more of a phase that's going on than an actual permanent situation?
Well, what I think it is, it's just the ease of anyone can print a t-shirt now, right? I mean, look at digital printing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like, I love screen prints. That's what I'm into. That's what I want to wear. But like, anyone can go buy a digital printing machine now and print one-offs in their garage, no overhead, and you can just bootleg. It's easier now than it's ever been.
Right.
So really, now the one difference is like, you know, if you take that analogy with music, obviously I don't think any of us would argue that we'd rather listen to a CD over downloading something, right?
Right.
I mean, it's just, you remember having like a 6-disc changer in your trunk?
In the trunk, dude.
Yeah.
Had to get out, pop that sucker out.
What 6 CDs do I want to listen to for this road trip? But like, so that changed for the better, but nobody wants this janky apparel, right? I mean, nobody wants to get a t-shirt.
Quality's huge. People want that quality.
Yeah, they don't want a Metallica shirt that's like, you know, this shiny polyester. The graphic is printed this big.
You mean an iron-on?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it all. We've seen the Misfits logo printed backwards.
Oh,
it's like, nobody wants that shit. So hopefully, you know, because all this stuff is being made in China, and it's just the, you know, these Chinese companies or whatever they are just found a way to kind of like work the system. I think a lot of people have caught on to that.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you, is the reason why it's getting better is because the consumer is getting a little bit smarter and realizing, hey, you get what you pay for. When you see a legitimate company like yourself dropping a shirt for $15.99, right next to it's the same fucking shirt, but it says $5.99. It's like, I would know, for me.
We would know, but the average person, especially like mom or grandma buying
I think they're taking shirt over the holidays. Once they do it once, they're not going to do it again. You know what I mean? So I think maybe that is the positive curve, like you're saying, is that people want good quality, man, and they're knowing real quick that this iron-on bullshit is garbage.
I mean, and that's why, like, when this whole thing started happening, we basically, everything we do now, every ad, every social media, whatever, everything is officially licensed, just so we can beat that point home. And nobody ever used to ask, and now even we put that out there, and somebody will comment, is this officially licensed or more bootleg crap?
That's dope. So that's good.
That tells me
I was going to say, like, awareness,
Yeah, so that tells me that people are actually, like, very aware.
Give a shit.
And
brand
plus,
awareness.
At the end of the day, it's, the bands are getting ripped off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now merchandise is where all these bands make their money for the most part. If you're not on tour, you got to have merch.
Right.
And if your merch is getting knocked off this easily, then,
Well, it's like quality. People can tell, though. That's
for sure.
Yeah, and you're always going to get the person that doesn't understand, but they have that one bad experience with, a vendor like Amazon, bootleg Amazon, not real Amazon, you know, but then clearly they're not going to do it again, or you'd hope, So that's good. I was kind of curious because when we talked about, Magic and Agenda, obviously the apparel trade shows, you go to that almost every year for the most part. I went with you last year? Yeah, last year.
Shared a bed. You had food poisoning.
Yeah, right.
Really fun for me.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was cool for the most part. It was eye-opening, but you said, what was your take now this year? You came back and said, holy crap, man, things have changed at Magic.
Yeah. I mean, attendance was way down, like, back in the day. Even if it wasn't the licensed area, the industry that I'm in, you'd go to streetwear and it would just be...
Just popping.
Yeah. Lines
and to fill people in what this is. Agenda?
Yeah, so basically these are, as you said, they're apparel trade shows. So everyone from, Dickies to Affliction... all the big brands, retailers are out there.
Even basically. Levi's, all that stuff. They're there, Converse, whatever. Yeah. So that's the Magic side, and then they also have all the wholesalers. So what you print blanks on, what we do, all that, and then Agenda is more like streetwear driven, like a lot of hip hop artists, things like that. A lot of it's for the culture. That's what they kept saying the whole time, but.
You're not buying it?
Yeah, no, it's bullshit. So it's one of those things that's Agenda, but they're right next to each other. In Las Vegas is the one, and I think there's a different one. But but you said this year the attendance was low.
Yeah, it just seemed like I've had a lot of conversations with people about it, and I think it's a combination of a bunch of different things. I think it's just most of this stuff can be done online now. I mean, you got to keep in mind some of these booths. I've heard crazy stories where a booth out there can cost like $200,000 for some.
It's insane.
I mean, you saw some of the booths though.
Well, yeah, wasn't? Oh, yeah, there was like a fucking one of them had a fish tank.
Yeah,
like
I mean, they're insane.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is a clothing brand. He had no clothes in the booth, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
but I mean, but the whole point was like, hey, got your attention, the fish, huh? But I'm thinking the whole time, is this a fishing brand? What's going on?
For sure.
It just didn't translate well, but. Dude, we've done the Mr. Olympia and we've done like the Arnold Expos and just ballpark people. It's funny, again, behind the scenes, just like the music industry, what we do for work, people don't realize the financial hit that you're taking. It's like with social media and with, podcasts and with all this is really the trade show besides the meetings, which I could have a conference call with a vendor, right?
Sure, yeah, totally.
Skype them in, whatever you want to do. Is it worth it to have that when a booth, a 10 by 10, costs me minimum, this is without taxes, $8,000?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta sell a lot of shit.
You gotta sell a lot of cotton.
Yeah. Just to recoup.
Exactly. And that's what I think those trade shows are now hurting, because they're like, maybe we don't need to go this route.
It's interesting. I mean, for me, it's always been like a good face-to-face. You meet people, you network, you have dinner, lunch, whatever, with the people that you're friends with.
In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, of course.
It's the first stop.
Yeah.
When we roll into Vegas.
That's right.
Yep.
It's a must.
It's a must.
So what's the I guess the main thing is now, I think it ties in because I think a lot of times people is partially the bootleg problem or what's going on with bootlegs part of why the attendance isn't there, or is it mainly like, hey, these vendors, these booths just cost way too fucking much?
Well, I mean, it goes back to what I was just saying. It's a combination of a bunch of different things. Right. It is very expensive. You can do it all online or over the phone or Skype or whatever you want to do now.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, bootlegging, absolutely. I mean, a lot of our legit competitors are totally out of business now because of this. I mean, it wreaked, havoc on the whole. And that's the thing. I mean, we're not even just talking like band merch. It's destroying everything.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, when you know it's bad, when you roll up to the mall, Sears is gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on here? It's all going to the internet. E-commerce.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, even just with Amazon, it's like, I heard this or read this story about this company that was like, you basically strap like a piano on your back or something, and so you can move a piano. It's just fake news. And so what happened is the Chinese, on Amazon started ripping this off half the price, and people are fucking carrying a piano and the straps are breaking, obviously.
And then they died.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone died, but I heard the same thing about like this company that they have a hoverboard. And this lady accidentally bought a bootleg version on Amazon. It exploded in her $1 million+ house. The whole thing torched.
Jeez. I mean, really?
Yeah, or like the eclipse, the solar eclipse. Last year? Right?
Yeah, when everyone was doing
so
just people staring at it.
A lot of people bought bootleg glasses off Amazon that did nothing.
Burn those retinas out.
And people are just staring up at the sun. So it's not just band merch. It's not just my industry. It's literally everything.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about Birkenstock. That was the one company, like the hippie sandals.
Yep.
Be great for you,
Show
off those fucking tatted feet,
yeah.
Hippie.
That's right.
And it's one of those things though. Like Birkenstock is a major moccasin shoe, whatever the hell they are. They've been around forever.
Yep.
They pulled their contract from Amazon because so many bootlegs are happening. They're like, people can't tell the difference from a bootleg to our real shit. They're just going for whatever's cheap. And they're like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And
then the NFL has done the same thing. Like, they don't want any official NFL product out there because it can just get bootlegged so easily.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, though, too, like doing what we do or what you guys do, having everything in-house is what a lot of companies don't want. That's why a lot of times they go to the big dog like Amazon. Like, yeah, if you can distribute our product, bump our percentages up 30% in a quarter, whatever. For
sure.
It's like, that's why they do it. But packaging the orders, having a team like we have and you have, that's where, in the long game, you're going to win, sure. I think. Yeah. I mean, no matter what, if it ebbs and flows with technology, I just feel you have to hire out. Like, if you guys are slammed like you are, I mean, you told me about your Black Friday, and I'm like, holy shit. Totally. It was insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to hire out more people during that time to, push that product or whatever.
For sure.
So it's interesting. It's like, I feel everyone bitches and complains about it, but like you said, I think there's, like, you always are going to need clothes. So it's like, it's not going to go anywhere. Even though you had this massive problem, you guys are able to get out of it.
We weathered the storm. I mean, I think we are through the worst of it, but I mean, who knows? Facebook is in so much hot water right now with all the political stuff and just the thing that just leaked this weekend or whatever. But I mean,
what was it? I don't fuck with Facebook that much.
Yeah, me either.
It's not that interesting.
Okay.
But fake news.
Right. So it's something with Zuckerberg or what?
Well, I mean, they're just in all sorts of hot water with like the
So it's Snapchat right now too.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I heard about that like ad they posted with Rihanna. Did you hear about that?
Oh God.
The ad popped up and she saw it and she's like, "What?" And I guess their stock plummeted and they lost like 800 million or something crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the main thing, we'll probably wrap up. Is there anything you have for us at all?
Forklift story.
Do you want to fire it off quick? Let's hear it.
So, back to this whole, just trying to get a job with anything to do with music, right?
Yep.
I can't remember the name of the company, but I found this company that essentially, like, they were based in Minnesota. I don't know if they're still around. They provided backline equipment to these huge bands that came to town, right?
Dude, I think they're 2 doors down. I'm not kidding.
No.
What are they called?
We'll go look when we're done with this episode. They open up like trailers. It's all like the high end. Yep. It's 2 doors down.
Interesting.
That's funny. I'm not kidding. This is gonna be awesome.
Okay, so basically, like, if Aerosmith came to town, they're not going to fucking haul their gear out here, right, for one show. So it's like this company will get hired to provide all the backline equipment, drums, amps, whatever. Now, somebody's got to drive all that shit to the venue, right?
You did?
No, I'm getting to that. God. So I will say...
Worst idea ever.
Yeah, right? The crashing the Escalade story and all that. So basically, I think this is honestly the one job that I've ever applied for that I didn't get. So I showed up to this place, and I didn't know really what it was, but, they were looking for, like, a trucker to like haul thousands of tons, whatever, of equipment to these shows, driving, and they're like, "Can you drive a semi truck?" And I go, "Yep," because I just wanted the fucking job, right? I just wanted to be. They're like, "Are you sure?"
Sure can.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, "Well, have you ever driven one before?" No, but I can learn. Yeah. So I did not get the job.
Good.
And that would have been real bad.
Yeah, because you're not the best driver.
Well, let's not say that, but driving a large vehicle such as a semi,
I don't know, man.
I'm Danzig height, you know what I mean?
Peeking over the steering wheel.
I don't think Danzig could do it either.
Yeah,
so,
probably not.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big vehicle.
So I guess the one thing I wanted to know, kind of with wrapping things up though, is what's the difference, and this is even coming from me, if I go to like Target?
Yep.
I don't know the backstory of that, but like there's band merch there.
For sure.
What is the difference from contracts with like Target when you see it or getting it from you guys?
Well, so and by
the way, before you chime in, I know you guys do exclusives, which is rad. That also, you do some of that stuff with certain bands like Rockabilia exclusives, but to the average, like, I don't know shit consumer and I want to get some good band apparel. You guys have the selection that's beyond crazy. I mean, I was at the warehouse and I'm like, holy shit, makes our warehouse look like a bathroom, So I'm just more like, for the consumer, when they go to Target, you see all this band merch, AC/DC, Nirvana. What differentiates that from what you guys are doing?
Well, basically, so I've never really thought that we're in direct competition with Target or Kohl's or any of these mass retailers that sell band merch. I mean, maybe a little bit. There's some crossover, but at the end of the day, that's like, the casual fan that's going to Target. Oh, I need a shirt. I like AC/DC. I'm going to pick this up.
Sure.
It's $8.99.
Yep.
Right? To go to Rockabilia to shop, on our website, that's kind of more of like the hardcore fan.
Yep.
Obviously, we don't just have one AC/DC shirt at a time. We have hundreds.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, that's the number one difference. But basically all that is just the company that has the rights to Metallica or whatever band it is just Target wants a shirt.
Sure.
And they just go to them. And a lot of the stuff that you'll see in mass retail, it's a Target exclusive.
Totally.
I mean, you can't get that anywhere else. If you're bringing in, that type of quantity store wide.
For sure.
They want something that you can only get there.
Okay. And then how does it work with bands too? That's kind of my last question to kind of wrap people around.
Yeah.
Like with certain bands and artists, do you guys have contracts with them exclusively to sell their product? Like if if it's, I don't know, whoever, like.
So basically just the process is that a band will sign a deal with a merch company.
Sure.
And then the merch company will handle, I mean, every deal is different, right? Some will handle touring, some won't. But let's just say, for simplicity's sake, that this merch company is going to handle everything to do with this band's merch.
Right.
So they're going to handle touring. They're going to handle the web store if you're shopping for their merch on their own official, .com.
Yep.
And they're going to sell wholesale to retailers such as us.
Okay.
And so the contract is more like between the band and the merch company or the record label or whoever we're buying from.
Nice.
And obviously, like, there are definitely certain bands that we have really good direct relationships with where, we'll maybe do an exclusive and it's totally outside of the realm of the typical merch company, band, retailer relationship. But for the most part, that's how it works.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess to wrap things up, what do you want people to know? We got the whole backstory. We got a little bit about the bands. We got a little bit about the music industry, because how the music industry correlates really huge on the merchandise sales.
For sure.
What one main thing or something you want to let the people know? Like if it's go to, obviously the website, Rockabilia, where's the best place to find your stuff? Like to get really roped into what your business is and what's going on?
I would just say rockabilia.com. I mean, no matter what type of music fan you are, if you're a metalhead, punk, hardcore, classic rock, alternative, whatever. Michael Bolton for Jeff.
Yeah.
We basically have it all. So yeah, again, it's just rockabilia.com. And I mean, going back to the whole officially licensed thing, everything that we sell is legit. You don't have to worry about, janky bootlegs. If you do buy from us on Amazon, make sure that it actually says ships from and sold by Rockabilia.
Is that pretty easy to see? Like it says Rockabilia.
It is.
He's like, you can notice it. It's
right.
there.
But people get, we get complaints all the time.
Sure.
Like, you guys sent me this piece of shit.
Because people just look at the price tag.
I know, exactly.
They don't look at what's right next to it.
So just be aware of who you're buying it from. And that really, we cater to music fans, and this is really the best way to support artists. To buy their officially licensed band merch.
It is, and being in a band currently, it's huge. It speaks volumes for people to, it's not that much harder, guys, to just type in rockabilia.com or go to the Instagram. It's at Rockabilia, correct?
Rockabilia.com on Instagram.
Okay, at Rockabilia.com.
Some asshole has Rockabilia.
Well, someone has Alec Robinson, so he has to do underscore. It's garbage.
We talk about that every episode.
You can't. It's like you can't get in touch with anyone that can do anything about it. We have the trademark, and it's nothing.
You can buy it from the person. You have to.
That's why they do it. Squatters.
Yeah, well, it's like a trademark.
They've never posted anything.
Yeah,
nothing.
Just hit them up. You can DM them because it's still an active account. And just be like, hey, can we have this account? Usually they would give it to you.
Yeah.
But they might just see what you guys are doing and.
Right.
But it might be worth it. I don't know.
Totally.
Well, nice. Well, thanks, Frankie, so much for coming on the show. It was awesome talking to you. And
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So, thanks, homie.
Yeah, guys, thanks for listening. This was an awesome episode. So you can go and we have a 10% discount podcast.
Just podcast.
You doing any discount codes, dog, with Rockabilia? Anything?
I suppose we could.
For Ironing Fitness, guys. That's
for Ironing Fitness, but anything that people have? Do you have anything running right now? Any specials?
Let's do PC Iron, and we'll do 15% off.
Okay. Oh, wait. He just upped us.
Wait. Oh shit! Yeah, you guys are only doing 10.
He can't take it back. Oh wait, is he the double?
Oh, listen to him. You guys are only doing 10. Who is this guy?
10%.
No, but
give the listeners something they can.
All right, so you're doing a 15% discount code.
PC Iron.
PC
okay.
Iron.
PC Don't forget Iron, that you're gonna have to. You have to
log that into that.
I'll send you a text message later. Hey,
do it.
Yeah, awesome. And of course, you guys, you can follow Ironing Fitness, ironingfitness.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we've got a lot of good guests coming up in the next few episodes too. So
you started off really well. We appreciate it.
It was good.
Thanks, but of this week.
No, nice.
And send us questions too at podcast@ironingfitness.com.
Yes, we've been getting some really good ones. Chris's was the intro of this episode.
If you have any for Frankie too, we'll forward them and we'll make sure we answer them on the next show.
Yeah,
it'll be good. So
get that real band merch, people. So
awesome. Well, we hope everyone just has a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next episode.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Bye.